Today, some incredible gourmet bangers and mash. So guys, let's do it. The first step, we want some potatoes, and here I'm using Maris Piper. You want to peel your potatoes and take the time to remove any little bits of skin and blemish. We want beautiful creamy white potatoes. Once you've peeled your potatoes, we want to chop them into small cubes, about 1 inch thick roughly, and then chuck your diced potato into a pan, and you want to fill the pan up with water, pop your potatoes on the hob, turn the heat up high and bring them to the boil, and you want to boil the potatoes until they start to get soft. We don't want them to turn to mush, so keep checking them every couple of minutes by giving them a stab with a knife. Once your potatoes have started to go soft, you want to drain those off, pop them back into the same pan, and then give them a quick mashing up and leave them to evaporate for 5-10 minutes. While the water's evaporating from the potatoes, we want to prepare some onions. So take your onions, chop them in half and remove the skins, and you want to slice up your onions into nice thin strips. The only way for a good onion gravy. So slice up the onion, and then you want to chuck those into a bowl ready to cook. At this point you want to return to your mash, and the next stage in the process, the most important part, is you want to work your potatoes through a sieve. Push those potatoes through. This will remove any lumps and will leave you with the creamiest, smoothest mash. Once you've done that, you want to chuck them back into the same pan, pop them onto a low heat, give them another good mashing up, and then you want to start working in your butter. So chuck in a few knobs of butter, give that a good mashing up, get a wooden spoon and start to stir vigorously. Then you want to season, give them another good stir, and then we want some milk. Pour in a small splash of milk, work the potatoes through, and you want to give them a taste for seasoning, make sure they're nice and creamy and smooth, and next we're going to prepare our onions. So pop another pan on the hob, turn the heat between medium and high, add a splash of olive oil, and then chuck in your sliced onion. Soon as the onion's in, give them a season, and you want to start by sweating down the onion first till they get nice and soft. So stir away and keep them moving, and when the onions are nice and soft, we want some butter. Chuck in a knob of the butter, give them a good stir, and then we want some rosemary and thyme. So chuck your herbs into the pan, and now the butter and herbs are in, we want to spend a few minutes to get the onions nice and brown. And then after a few minutes, we want some honey. Add a flat tablespoon of honey, give that a few minutes for the honey to caramelize, and then we want some Dijon mustard. Add a nice heat teaspoon of the Dijon, and next some whole grain mustard. Add a heat teaspoon of the whole grain, stir the mustard into the onions, and then we want to deglaze with some brandy. So pour in a nice splash of your brandy, burn off the alcohol, reduce that down, and then we want a nice splash of some balsamic vinegar. So chuck in some balsamic, give that a minute to reduce, and then we finish our onion gravy with some beef stock. Add a splash of the stock so it just about covers the onion, and then we want to spend a few minutes to cook out the onions and reduce down the stock. Once the stock is reduced and the onions are ready, we're going to prepare our bangers, the sausages. So pop another pan on the hob, turn the heat to medium, add a little splash of olive oil, and here I'm using some really good quality butcher's sausages. Pop your sausages in the pan and give them a very light season with some salt and pepper. Season both sides of the sausage, and then the trick with cooking good sausages is to keep turning them and get a nice even colour. Once they're starting to get nice and golden brown on all sides, we want to prepare some garlic to perfume the sausages. So take anywhere between 3 and 5 cloves, leave them in the skins, but simply give them a crush with the back of a knife. So add a couple of nice generous knobs of butter, and then chuck in your crushed garlic. Along with the garlic, we want some aromatics. Here I'm using some rosemary and some thyme. So chuck your herbs into the pan, move them around in the lovely foaming butter, keep turning those sausages, and generally sausages will take anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes depending on the heat. Make sure they're really nice and golden brown but even on all sides, and when they're ready, we're good to go. So you want to pile your onion gravy onto the plate, add your beautiful butcher's sausages, add a few spoons of that lovely creamy buttery mash, and all that's left to do is to get stuck in. So get in the kitchen, give it a try, and I'll see you next time.